Space exploration has become a highly popular topic in the last decade, thanks to the privatization of this department. Every other person now knows what black holes are, the discoveries we're making in space, thanks to highly advanced probes, satellites and telescopes, and how aggressively private companies like SpaceX are working to make the red planet our next home. It's almost like the subject of space is in fashion and has become a part of pop culture. It's cool to know what sort of rocket Elon Musk is making now. But where did it all start? We all know that NASA is one of the oldest space companies in the world. They started doing space exploration at a time when people used to think that spending money on rockets was a total waste of financial and human resources. But thanks to NASA, we now have a great understanding of outer space. We know our solar system better than ever, and we understand the importance of space exploration. Let's rewind back a few decades and see how it all started. After World War II, the US Department of Defense decided that it was time for America to excel in the research of upper atmosphere and rocketry sciences to ensure the US stayed ahead in the technology race. President Dwight D. Eisenhower gave his vote in full support of this initiative and approved the plan for an orbit of a scientific satellite around the world that would help gather data about the Earth's atmosphere. The Soviet Union announced that they were working on their orbiting satellite just around the same time as well. In the year 1958, on July 29th, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the Act of National Aeronautics and Space Administration, also known as NASA, which was the moment it came into existence. Although many claims that the sole purpose of NASA's creation was the rivalry between the US and the Soviets. The Soviets had launched Sputnik in 1957, and NASA was established largely in its response. No matter what the reason was, it's undeniable that NASA is the most revolutionary organisation in the world. The discoveries they've been making since their dawn have been simply mind-blowing. Although NASA seems to be a very transparent company, after all, it functions with the funds of US taxpayers, the conspiracies and speculations never seem to go away. Let's have a look at some theories about NASA that may or may not be true. 1986 Challenger explosion. Space exploration is no walk in the park. Everyone knows it's one of the most complicated tasks humans have ever got their hands on. In 1986, the explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger shocked the world. It happened because of a faulty part in the rocket, and it's claimed that NASA already knew about it before the launch. The rockets are extremely complicated machines that require hundreds of components to work properly in order to make them work perfectly when they're launched. One crucial part of them are O-rings that are made out of rubber. Right before the Challenger's launch, the engineer of this shuttle, Roger Boisjoli, realised that due to a cold spell, these rubbers had been ruined and wouldn't function properly. He quickly called NASA to inform them and to stop the launch. However, NASA ignored him and launched the shuttle the next day, killing their own astronauts. Before we further continue our discussion on this topic, if you've enjoyed this video so far, consider subscribing, as we frequently upload such informative and educational videos. Let's continue. NASA planned to nuke the moon. The Cold War was one of the weirdest periods of time in US history. Both the Russians and NASA were willing to go to any extent to demonstrate their power and capabilities, and the ideas were insane. It's unclear who proposed this idea, but it's believed that at a certain point, NASA was willing to nuke the moon. The scientific explanation that came out was because they wanted to see how the Earth's atmosphere would react when the moon would be nuked, which, for a reason, is as bizarre as the idea in itself. Thankfully, this idea, which was called Project A119, was dismissed after it was considered too extreme and after realising that it could have some extremely terrible effects on the entire world. Losing a satellite due to a math error. Launching a satellite and then managing it all the way to its destination in space is extraordinarily complex. Hundreds of minor details come into account while preparing for such missions, and just a minor error can ruin the entire mission and waste billions of dollars, which is exactly what happened in 1999. After years of hard work, NASA launched a probe whose destination was Mars's outer orbit, and it was called the Mars Climate Orbiter. As expected from the name, this satellite was designed to study the red planet's atmosphere, its climate, weather conditions, and dozens of other experiments. But it never did that, due to a mathematical error in its software. Everything seemed just fine after its launch and until it reached Mars. But upon its arrival, when the satellite opened its thrusters to enter the Martian orbit, instead of performing its normal processing, it crashed into the Martian surface, and just like that, billions of dollars gone. Upon investigation, it was found that the manufacturers of the probe had programmed the flight control software in English units of pounds instead of using Newton's metric unit, and because of this silly mistake, years of hard work was ruined. And since then, this little tale has been told to the students who study physics and space to demonstrate how such extremely tiny errors can cause monster disasters. The Black Knight satellite. For us humans, the idea of meeting extraterrestrial life forms seems fascinating for several reasons. The idea that we're alone and that we're not alone seems equally terrifying. There is an abundance of conspiracy theories related to alien visitation. Many believe that aliens made contact with early human civilizations and helped to build structures like the Great Pyramids. And some believe that they still visit us from time to time. But due to their highly advanced technologies, we're unable to see their presence. As per the UFO conspiracists, an alien satellite called the Black Knight has been revolving around the Earth for almost 13,000 years. Like most conspiracy theories, this theory as well is a mixture of numerous incomplete stories and misunderstandings of various highly equipped space objects. The origin of this theory is quite old. The Black Knight story began when some unnatural voices were heard during the 1899 radio experiments by Nikola Tesla. These weird sounds were supposedly heard by the amateur radio operator named Jørgen Hals in Norway in 1928. The name Black Knight originated from the rocket program the British launched between 1958 and 1965 to work on the re-entry vehicle. The rocket was named the Black Knight rocket, and for some reason the program didn't work, as the British didn't launch anything into space. Despite all the mistakes NASA has made in the past, it's an undeniable fact that NASA is the most revolutionary organisation in the world, and the precious information it's been able to gather with years of hard work and sacrifices is paving the roads for our future, which could be other planets or even moons. What are your thoughts on NASA and the discoveries it has made? Share your views with us in the comments. We'd love to read them. If you found this video informative and enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button as well. We would really appreciate this gesture. Thank you for watching.